Hey, monkey boy. This time I can prove the Israelites weren't black using ChatGPT. Ha!
So that's what we're doing now? Using AI?
What was that? I couldn't hear you over that smoke alarm chirp you people can't hear. Say that again?
Hilarious and original.
Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original. Hilarious and original.
I said, is that what we're doing now? Using AI to prove who the Israelites are?
That's exactly what we're doing, and I'll show you, boy.
Oh, brother.
2 hours later.
Your room still stinks.
Look at how easily ChatGPT debunks everything you chimps have to say. Ha! You was not kings, and you was not Israelites.
If we're gonna use AI, then let's at least use an AI that's trained on the Bible without the Masoretic mistranslations or any agendas and actually tells us the truth.
Liar, there's no such thing.
I'll show you. Let's use Israelite Bot. Go to israelitebot.com and ask the same thing.
Fine, but I bet it'll say the same thing as ChatGPT. No! No!
You see? I told you.
No!
And it shows biblical proof.
No! This is preposterous. I hate this website. It's all wrong.
Stop crying.
Your website sucks.
The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
NeoDiplomacy is the new currency. NeoDiplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Are you constantly working hard, checking off the boxes, yet feel unfulfilled? Doors keep closing, plans fall through, and progress feels forced? These are signs that you might be off course in your kingdom assignment. Join the Unlocking Your Kingdom Assignment Masterclass, where you'll learn to bring clarity to your God-given talents, discover your divine purpose, and take bold steps toward living them out. This isn't just another motivational session, it's a practical, faith-filled guide to aligning your gifts, calling, and season of life with what God has truly designed for you. You'll walk away with clarity, biblical insight, and strategies to move forward with confidence. Don't miss this opportunity to unlock the assignment God has written for you. Registration is open now at no cost to you. Sign up now at the posted website, or you can see the link in my bio. Stay blessed.
Well, shalom, salama, yemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you also this morning. This morning where everyone is bracing for it. Sometimes they just have to fight it out. Oh my goodness. That was sent to me. I'm gonna send this here in the chat. You may just have to fight it out. After it's a perfect day that was forecasted 100 years ago on a perfect parade. Those were the words uttered by your president. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that we see is very, very salacious, right? Salivating. It's shocking. How could that have been said? How could that have been used? I never would have. But understand, they don't care about diplomacy. If they actually cared about diplomacy, and I told you all this literally on this show back in January, they did not care about diplomacy. The only thing that I was off about was honestly my dates, because I figured that they would have started around maybe March or April. And no, they're actually starting in June, which to me means they are waiting on this to go kind of full tilt. And the reason that they're starting in June, because July is going to be very, very hot. So will August. And so will September. So you're now seeing the beginning of a war campaign. On top of that, beginning the war campaign when it is hotter, especially out in those deserts. Well, what gets hot real quick cools down even quicker. Oh, trust me. For all the desert dwellers in here, especially if you're up in Las Vegas or Phoenix, even parts of Southern California. That desert doesn't play. And you run that risk of some issues. But, you know, they've lived in the desert. They know how the desert environment is. They know how to navigate through the desert environment. They know how to convoy through the desert environment. They've been convoying for a while. And to me, yes, this will be the desert, but it starts well, it already started. It doesn't start in the desert. It already started at sea. The sea, the waters. This is 2 hours ago from an account in X. It says breaking there. Who's there? That's pretty vague. There. Who is there? They're killing the signal. Strait of Hormuz under attack. Mass GPS jamming just hit the world's most critical oil choke point. Ships are vanishing from trackers. UKMTO confirms electronic interference. Iran's done this before. 2019 tanker seizures. Spoof GPS. Blacked out AIS. AIS is basically your it's your signal that tracks ships. That gives you the vessel finder. And the AIS, it stands for your automatic identification system. So when it pings, you're pinging your automatic identification system. Bandar Abbas, Karj Island, Bushehr, all hot spots. Now it's back and spreading. 20% of the world's oil moves through here. UAE, Saudi, Qatar, U.S. Fifth Fleet, all in range. This isn't some glitch. It's electronic warfare. You don't need missiles to start World War III. Just kill the signal. And this source is UKMTO. It's the United Kingdom's like Maritime Transit Organization, I believe, is UKMTO. This to me feels like 2019 all over again. I'm getting PTSD. Oh. Let me put this on in here. See, war is a very interesting thing. You just don't have the bang bang shoot 'em ups and everything else and all of that. I'm gonna also put on in here. This is just it's an aggregator website. So basically it just captures stuff. I want to give you the actual no kidding. This is where it comes from. It comes from Bloomberg, so they do that so folks don't have to, spend lots and lots and lots and lots of money because it's lots and lots and lots and lots of money because they're going to say billions and billions and billions to start World War III. That was the audit. If you didn't know what DOGE was for, the Department of Government Efficiency, they were literally conducting an audit to start World War III. Say I'm lying. Just like they had the immigration thing to start martial law so that they could start World War III. Tell me I'm lying. Because it's bigly, it's huge, it's lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. It's going to be very bad. It's going to be very dangerous. Why? Why is it going to be very bad and very dangerous? I know why. This is from Bloomberg, the article I shared. Markets and then ship signal jamming in Persian Gulf worsens as conflict widens. Strait of Hormuz. Navigation signals for more than 900 vessels in the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf went awry over the weekend, creating confusion in the shipping choke points as the fighting between Iran and Israel intensified. Starboard Marine Intelligence and Bloomberg data showed vessels sailing impossibly straight lines in the region. Basically, they didn't know where they were going, zigzagging across the water or appearing on shore. The glitches, which have affected oil tankers, cargo ships, tugs, and fishing boats, among others, since Friday, increase reliance on radars, compasses, and eyesight boosting the likelihood of collisions. The Joint Maritime Information Center and International Naval Task Force monitoring the area warned on Sunday that there are instances of extreme jamming of signals from the Iranian port of Bandar Abbas. However, the JMIC said there are no indications of a potential blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, which handles more than a quarter of the world's oil trade. This is not a good place and not a good time to have navigation systems that can't show exactly where you are. Wait a second. Do you see how? Do you see the imagery and illusory here? And I'm sorry, this is the lies. Who are these lies for? See, when you understand the system, when you understand what's happening, you understand that there's a narrative. What is the narrative? The narrative, I can't scare people. I can't tell people what's happening, because if I do, I scare. And if I scare, I lose control. And if I lose control, everybody's going to panic. But let's be honest, because if you don't understand or have a militaristic mind or even have the intimate understanding, because you've been there in the area when this happened, when I gave you that article from X, the reason is because from the Hustle B person, he was on point. This happened 6 years ago. I know. I was there during that time 6 years ago. So now you're telling me that ships really cannot transit the Strait of Hormuz, but it's not a naval blockade. Does that make sense to anybody else? Ships aren't able to pass through an area. Let me show you the area. This area right here. This has an intersection of UAE. This is technically Oman area. And then you have UAE that breaks through. Then you have Oman again. And there's Dubai, the Sharjah. These are a lot of the areas. If you see how close this is, I think this is like less than 25 miles, I believe. It's a very, very narrow area. So if you're having all, and see, these are a lot of islands right here. And these islands, I think that island and that island, those are Iranian islands. So you actually have a lot of Iranian territory up in here. This is the only kind of like free territory. If you go through there, Iran. If you go through there, Iran. So it is very narrowed, and then this empties out into the Gulf of Arabia. And then from there into the Indian Ocean. So what they're trying to do, don't panic. Yeah, Zoomer knows. And Zoomer, I'm not gonna. I won't expose, secrets, but I'll assume that if you're over there in the area, you're probably analyzing a lot of the trans petroleum shipments, or have something to do with or closely adjacent to the petroleum energy markets. Because I guarantee you that when the markets open in less than 2 hours, you're going to see a lot of the futures for WTI look kind of crazy, because it is going to account for the potential oil closure that they're saying is not going to happen. They're trying to say it's not going to happen. See, what they're doing is they're trying to, number one, they're trying to get things set at a pace, at a bottom. Let me try to show you how they manipulate markets. Let me try to show you this to you. If I can even share this tab, I'm not even able to share it. Can I share it, or did it crash? It may have crashed on me. Sorry. A lot of these programs, they run crazy things in the background, and okay. Man, they don't want to quit with that commercial. My goodness. Okay. So, what are they doing right now? Here's investing.com, commodities, crude oil. Wow, they didn't even want to show it. Can you all see it? Can you all see the commodities? Yeah, it's not even showing. Wow, they probably got good at this. Yeah. No, they must have some anti-streaming software or something. I tell you, look, they're getting good at these technologies to like block these types of streams and things of that nature. Let me give it one more. Let me give it one more try. There we go. All right. So, what are they trying to do? Now, what you have here is that as you have the WTI, they're trying to bottom out their contracts as much as they can. Because if you see, please note the crude oil WTI contract rolled over on June 14th to August 2025. So what are they doing? They're collecting the futures. Let me tell you this. What they don't want to do, or they're not trying to account for the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So if they don't tell you that there's a closure on the Strait of Hormuz, and guess what? Then I'm going to think everything is still fine. Because what this does in the WTI, that actually will then open up the doors for the production levels, i.e. the supply, that is definitely going to get messed up. What happens? Basic economics. Less supply, more pay. Less supply, the more you pay. Less supply, the higher the price. When you have a higher price, especially in a very, very highly volatile nation where you have political issues, i.e. assassinations, from far right Christian nationals. Oh, didn't we hear that before? I told you that's who they're going to use. That's who they're going to set off this civil war against extreme left. And now understand these folks have no sense. They're foolish. So guess what? Here comes a tit for tat operation. Have you noticed that everything now is tit for tat? Tit for tat. I did this to you. Come at me. I did that to you. Come at me. I did this to you. Tit for tat. So now we're bracing on all fronts for what's going to happen. Look, I'm telling you, get your gas now. I got my gas yesterday. One of these wholesale club things that they have, like, Sam's Club, Costco, BJ's, whatever's in your area. Because now you're going to start seeing price fluctuations. Now, here's the reality of this. With those price fluctuations, of course, they don't want to tell you that they're going to be fluctuating. Because why? Because right now the U.S. has been pumping more than it's ever pumped before. However, nobody's buying U.S. oil because people are staying away from U.S. oil. If you notice, last week they let the numbers on out that nobody was buying U.S. crude oil like that. So again, the Mutt and Jeff is, well, I'm going broke. So go ahead and do your thing. Oh, I saved Khomeini. If you don't understand how they do this thing in concert, then honestly, you're a fool. If you don't understand how the US and that Eastern Mediterranean state aligns, then you're a bigger fool. If you can't understand how they do price manipulations and things of that nature, and that's why nobody's buying their bonds, because the game is up. You want to know who the game still works for? You want to know who the game still works for? The gig still works for us here in the United States and maybe still parts of Europe. But around the world, no, the gig is up. Because why? Because we're a captive audience. You still have a lot of people still coming around here saying, I'm native, I'm indigenous to this place. All right. See, understand when the gig is up and people become poor, they were already showing you the framework of how they are going to liquidate their liabilities. That's what a corporation does. You got to think corporately. If you don't know about thinking corporately, then guess what? I got a course for you, neodiplomacy.com. You may also need to sign up to be in my diplomatic cohort class. So you get the nuts and the bolts, you get the nitty and the gritty, you get the understanding what that means, what other nations see, how they are responding to us. Because why? Because when everything goes down, guess what? All the other nations now have to adjust. All right, well, that product is going to be gone for a little bit, but we can produce substitutes. That product's going to be gone, but we can produce substitutes. Do you not think that we've been exposed to this country for a while, and a lot of us in our collective efforts and mind space and head space can easily reproduce this whole thing? Remember, for as much as they laughed at our consumerism, as much as they laughed that, we didn't really save and we consumed and we bought stuff and we did things and do you not think that, man, well, you know what? We had this, and this, we had that, this, and this, how do we make all that? Those are materials. That's what we have. It's all under the ground here. That's how we produce it. Do you not know that we would be able, excuse me, to produce the same goods, that we would be able to reverse engineer the same goods, that we would be able to come through and provide the same technical analysis and understanding? Oh, this is a big one. So a U.S. Air Force C-5M Super Galaxy. Yeah, those suckers are big. They can put in like 2 MRAPs, side by side. They can store like 8 of them. Yeah, similar goods done better. Exactly. This is courtesy of Flight Radar 24. Something big is moving. It said that the super galaxy just departed Iran, took off from Bandar Lenga near the Strait of Hormuz, destination unknown, evac retrieval, something big is moving. That, honestly, I don't know. You have a couple things out here from Bahrain in these waters. They may have stated, look, we don't know about these diplomatic channels that's going in the back. They may have stated, hey, come get your stuff, because if you don't, it's going to start looking real ugly here. Get it before it's too late. So what are they doing? Did they move equipment, sensitive equipment? Is it a bit of a diplomatic detente for forward observers, special forces? Who knows? Pack your stuff up. Let's go. Understand what actually ends up happening. There's communication that's taken place through this. Now, believe it or not, Iran communicates a lot. Excuse me. Iran is diplomatic beyond diplomatic. Iran is judicious to the point that they make no sense. And when it comes to Iran being judicious, they're so judicious that they actually trip over each other. That is literally that religious confusion where you're ultra religious and you're so religious that you become ridiculous because you're so religious. This is what they're not showing. Before I show this, I'm going to put on in here, if you'd like to support this channel, you may do so. Cash App, PayPal, Zelle. I appreciate it, family. We're living, honestly, we're in some perilous times. Is it going to get better? I'm going to tell you this. They're going to say it's going to get better. Why is that? Because understand, you're now living in a time where people are going to be losing their jobs even more. The economy is looking bad. It's going to get even worse. As things are moving along and creeping along, it's not going to be things are going to just up and decay in the next 3 weeks. No, that's not going to happen. May not happen in the next 3 months. May not even happen in the next 6 months, but it's going to start getting bad. So I want to put that on out there. Thank you again for your support. And I'm putting that out because when I show you this from that Eastern Mediterranean nation that's at war with Iran, that started a sneak attack and thought that they were going to get away with it. And on top of it, I told you, without fail, they asked and they requested for U.S. support, and we're going to talk about that too. But I need you all to understand. Yeah, no, look, talking about this is at peril. And I speak of it, because it's at peril. So I'm putting that there. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for your gifts, your donation. I appreciate it. And let me go here. I'm going to share this in the Twitterverse, the Twitter Spaces, because it's really the only thing that gives you, the like no kidding on the ground. This is alternative news. The Haifa refinery is burning. The refinery makes 80% of Israel's fuel, including those for fighter jets. This will cripple Israel for a few months. Hmm. All people can do is just sit there. Now, what do you think that's going to do? You got fires going on all over the place. What do you think that's going to do? Where does that Eastern Mediterranean nation get most of its oil from? No, it's not going to limit military expansion. No, it is not. It's not going to limit military expansion, not one iota. But it will drive up oil prices. Oh, yes, it will. It will drive up oil prices. So now you're going to start seeing a slow tick, 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 tick here in the United States. So they're going to try to bottom out today, and they're going to drive up tomorrow. Because why? Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand how commodities work. A lot of people don't even want to understand what's happening in the rest of the world and what that really means. They think that what's happening in the rest of the world has nothing to do with them. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with me. I'm fine. And that's their problem. Just like the good old Gazans. Totally nothing to do with us. And then you see the article. On Sunday, the Frontline, a very large crude carrier that's operated by Frontline Limited, entered the Strait of Hormuz. Shortly afterward, its signal showed it sailing north toward Bandar Abbas, zigzagging south into the Gulf, hovering on shore, and finally heading towards Saudi Arabia. Why? Because they had to capture. They had to get their bearings straight. They had to get out those maps, and then they had to get their bearing. I'm thinking Israel will use their Samson option later in the stage. I think before the Samson option goes on, you're going to start to see a lot of people evacuate and get evacuated. Again, where do you think they're going to be evacuated to? I remember I said this on this channel. Where do you think they're coming? I said this on this channel. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. Yeah, this is something interesting. But again, they like to say and you'll see a lot of these propaganda articles. Israel takes control of Iran skies. No, not really. So now, sorry, let me get this. This is 10 hours ago. While you were sleeping, yeah, I was asleep. I knew that they were having more attacks than attacks. Because why? Because now you already have a warlike people, a very, very warlike people. You want to talk about entitled? This is where you get that entitlement from. That's what happens when you have when you steal a person or a people's identity. But they're going to start to find out the hard way what identity theft looks like. See, the lies could only hold up for so long. But when you started believing the lies of what of the identity that you stole, just because you have on your Space Jam Jordan 11s, just because you have a Bulls jersey on, just because you may have shaved shaved your hair and put on, the what is it, tropical sun or whatever that thing is, to bronze you up a little bit more. You ain't gonna be playing like Michael Jordan. I want to be like Jake. I want to be like Jake. I want to be like Jake. And then you realize you can't dunk because you're only 4 foot nothing. Oh, do we not all have dreams? I can dance like them. I can sing like them. I can move like them. Oh, I can run track like them. Just give me a 5-second head start. Don't they always say, I'm just saying, you know, identity theft is dangerous. Who here ever wants to knowingly go under the needle or under the knife and get surgery from somebody that did not have the credentials? Do you know what you're doing? Did you ever get trained on what to do? Is this what you're supposed to do? I see them doing it, so I want to do it too. That's dangerous. Now they're about to, this is their FAFO season. You talk about F around and find out. This is what they've done. This is the season of FAFO. Israel's hyper power plant has been hit and it's on fire. Israel is learning what happens when you bomb a country that can fight back. FAFO. Look at that nuclear stack right there for the energy, the coolants. Yeah, look, this is all within the last 48 hours. Look, you better be careful of when you are engaging in evil and you think that it's not going to touch you. That's wicked just to even think like that. Dang. Wow. You know they have some singing and stuff on here. Wow. I'm just folks, I'm just getting these folks, I'm just getting the news on this, folks. You know, all those ships that are there that are moored. You know, all those ships are damaged. Look at what it did to those buildings. Yep, they were laughing about Gaza. I'm off grid Hebrew Israelite prepper. This is what we've been telling y'all, folks. And this isn't anything to laugh at. I'm not laughing about it. Yes, MZ, yeah. An article published by the Times of India, 16, which is June 16th, today, states that Pakistan has told Iran that, them folks use that nuclear explosion, that they're going to use a nuke. They're going to be using a nuke. Nukes are coming. Nukes are coming. I'm telling you this. Now, here's the thing. Don't get scared now. There was just so much to report, it wasn't even funny. I said, nah, if I try to report it all, my head's going to hurt. Yeah, it is warheads on foreheads. Warheads busting foreheads. That's what that is. Warheads busting foreheads. Here we go. This is from Newsweek. U.S. Embassy damaged by Iranian missile strike on or in Tel Aviv. Published June 16th. By Ellie Cook. The U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv has sustained minor damage after an Iranian missile landed close to the building in the early hours of Monday, said the U.S. ambassador to Israel. Israel and Iran exchanged strikes for a 4-day into Monday after Israel launched its preemptive strikes on Iran's nuclear missile and military sites late on Thursday, U.S. time. An Iranian official said 78 people were killed and more than 300 injured. And Tehran, as Israel declared a state of emergency and prepared for Iran's response. Tehran has carried out several waves of retaliatory drone and missile strikes across Israel as the Israeli military continues to target sites across Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump has called for both sides to make a deal. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. All right. And let me just scroll down to here. Ambassador Mike Huckabee wrote on X that no U.S. personnel were injured in the incident, but added U.S. Embassy and Consulate office and consulate will remain closed on Monday. President Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So that got messed up. You're now seeing, now that is sovereign U.S. territory in the Middle East. Those are embassies, consulates. Understand, these are all now the tit for tats. And we didn't even get a chance to talk about the Putin Trump discussion. that took place. And Putin he picked up the phone and he called Iran. He said, look, man, they're coming for you. Wait. Why are they mad? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Why are they mad, though? Their police are looking for the Al Jazeera crew that broadcasted the hits in Haifa. They're going to be arrested. They're outlawed in Israel. Hopefully, these S-bags do some fun Israeli prison time. Why? It's not fun when the rabbits got the gun. Why are they getting mad? Why are they getting mad? The hypocrisy. Why are they getting mad? Because they're showing the whole world what's happening. That's why they're getting mad. Oh, yeah, BB's out of there. BB's out of there. He's held up in a bunker, or he may already be here too, South Florida with his son. They got the green screen on like he's still in Jerusalem. See, these little hit pieces, especially if they're from the US or United Kingdom, I don't think so. So these are your propaganda pieces. You got to remember, these propaganda pieces, they work in tandem. To be honest, I think that they're actually showing what's happening over there in Israel than other places. Iran civil war as Ayatollah Khamenei faces backlash from his own inner circle. Iranian officials have been asking how Iran's air defenses weren't more effective, but everybody's getting hit. And to me, the battle of attrition is going to obviously go towards Iran. Nobody's going to be getting on out of there. And see, that's also a fake thing in terms of the for the oil, gas, and nuclear facilities being hit. Understand there are critical infrastructures that are already on out there. And a lot of their stuff is dug underground. These are your propaganda hit pieces, your propaganda pieces. Because why? Because they do that to deflect from this. They do that to deflect from the fact that they're being worked. UK, US, and that Eastern Mediterranean nation with Europe, they're all the same, if you didn't know. Also, let me talk about this. Did you all know that no matter what, Oh, they tried to say that the U.S. does not have a defense pact. Honestly, that's really a lie. You saw that in action, especially after October 7th. They had deployed members of the 82nd Airborne. Shortly thereafter, I believe that we are going to be drug into this no matter what. Because if you didn't know, like I had said, America's bankrupt. In the last vestiges of bankruptcy, before you break a nation, so number one, you have to break a nation. And this nation's being broken down because why? This nation was already breaking down because nobody was buying into the nation. Why would you not buy? Well, you don't want to buy something. You don't want to put money in stock of a business that's going out of business. That's like showing Amazon and Netflix and Hulu and talking about I'm gonna still buy stock in the Blockbuster because I still believe in Blockbuster. Oh, that would have been terribly, terribly, terribly an issue. Yeah, man, those hypersonics weren't playing around. Let me show you all this because somebody had asked. Look, that's not doctored. You ain't beating that. If they could defend it, they would defend it. Now, in terms of the earthquake, because a lot family, I can't tell you just how much stuff has happened this week. The 48 hours. So let me go ahead. I want to share this. So a lot of folks, I don't really go for their narratives because their narratives are these are some psyops right here. 2 earthquakes in the last 24 hours in Iran and on its border Pakistan. What did Trump say about weapons? Most people couldn't believe to imagine again. Whatever. I don't believe that, but hey, there are certain people that will. But I do believe 2.5 magnitude earthquake reported near Fordow uranium enrichment site in Iran. National Seismological Center, Institute of Geophysics, University of Tehran. Initial earthquake report from the National Seismological Center, Institute of Geophysics, province, magnitude 2.5. It's showing that there. People have to ask: is Iran testing a nuke? A magnitude 4.3 earthquake was detected near the city of Zahedin in Iran's Balochistan province, which borders Pakistan. Nuclear test explosions typically result in earthquakes with a magnitude of 5.0 or greater. It's possible. So it could be a low yield nuke. Now, in terms of missile strikes, I don't think so. In terms of a nuclear reactor test, probably. And why not, especially at this time? Why not? Here's something: source claimed that Iran has conducted nuclear tests moments ago. This is back October, measuring 4.6 on the Richter scale. Remember, Iran had already stated that they had something. Yeah, Brother Cornelius X. White says, isn't that the same register as a nuclear testing? Absolutely. Well, it's usually 5.0. Do they really want it to be 5.0? Why does it need to be 5.0? You're just testing capabilities. Okay, it detonated, it triggered, it created big boom. It's weaponized. Well, it's not in the range. It's not in the. You always can have those capabilities later. You're just testing functionality. Everybody tries to jump from point A to point B. Clearly, folks have not understood the principles of project management, program management. You don't just need to go for the big boom right away. Look, now you're testing functionality. Functionality is good. Now you just have to work on other things, other components. And if you notice from the article that they just had, the one that I showed, I'm not saying that you all are doing it. I'm just saying that that's their rationale, because you have to understand how they think. Well, they're not on our level. Do they know? Listen, do you really need to be on the level of the United States? Our bombs are bigger. Does it really even matter? Bingo. They're understanding the capacity, because next is we're putting this thing on a platform system. Nah, I still don't think that the 2.5 magnitude. I still think that that's more than likely a test. Understand, you have to also exhaust the different things that's happening in there. There's probably a vent. There's probably a vent like 50, 60 miles away. And I don't think Iran would be reporting the earthquake. But who says that this is going to be your typical? See, that's what they always say. It's going to be your typical. To me, I don't think you really need to worry too much about the actual earthquake in terms of damaging infrastructure. Because Iran is also very, very sparsely populated. That's what a lot of people forget. It's very sparsely populated. Now, had they had these in the past? Yeah, we just saw that back in October. Iran could have a weapon within a week. And most people have already understood that. I just believe that, to be honest, a lot of people have had the notion that things are just going to kind of stay still and stay quiet forever, especially in a nation that is sinking. You've had folks that, especially in the state where I'm at in Florida, there's really nobody here. It's actually very unusual. Going up to Orlando now is literally less than an hour. I'm surprised. You'll still have your regular hot spots for traffic in areas, but it's not like how it used to be. But that's just not here in Florida. That's actually happening all throughout the country because nobody's coming here to the United States. So that takes a big bite out of tourism. Yeah, I don't think that that's the case of the. But I do have to say, I was actually very intrigued about the phone call because it does look like Putin did call Trump. And that was supposedly, purportedly, trying to find the article on that one. But that was purportedly the situation that Trump had informed Putin of the plan. That's Alex Jones. Yeah, there's a couple different things. So they said that the 50-minute phone call did happen. However, in that phone call, Trump revealed some things to Putin. Purportedly, Trump revealed some things to Putin. Regarding the state of the situation that they were in. I.e., Iran was in. Now, make no mistake about it, that was a decapitation strike because we can see that. I'm just trying to triangulate this evidence, these articles. I try to triangulate so you can see the rationale. I'm not just throwing stuff on out here. Trump vetoed the Israeli plan to kill Iran Supreme Leader, U.S. official tells AP. Washington, President Donald Trump rejected a plan by Israel to the U.S. to kill Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, according to a U.S. official familiar with the matter. The Israelis informed the Trump administration in recent days that they had developed a credible plan to kill Khamenei. After being briefed on the plan, the White House made it clear to Israeli officials that Trump was opposed to the Israelis making the move, according to the official who was not authorized to comment on the sensitive matter. So supposedly that was going on, and then Israel was saying that was fake and everything else. I don't know. That decapitation strike did not seem fake to me. At least it did not seem fake to me. Now, had it had worked, had it achieved all of its objectives, especially striking the top, then it would have said it would have worked. Actually, no, it did not work. And according to, so I can't find those articles, which actually means that to me that was true, and now they're doing their best to clean that up. Good job, NSA. They're cleaning up those articles and scrubbing it down. You get internet scrubs. The internet scrub. That's how that works. And now with that, here we go. This is what I wanted to show right here. From Pakistani Pakistan, Putin, after his phone call with Donald Trump, conveyed a warning to Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, that the regime is in trouble or is in danger. Now, I wonder why you couldn't find that on Western sources. So Trump went and he did a run tell that. That's what Trump did. He did a run tell that. Putin then sends a warning to Khamenei. Yeah, they're about to get at you. How does that look? Oh, you know what? I think right now, I think it's a good idea. I'm going to stand down. I'm going to stand down because we just had these talks that went absolutely nowhere. We know that those talks were probably fake. We realized that these talks were more than likely definitely fake. But they're operating in good faith. Like they always. Like they've historically operated in good faith. All of these conflicts and wars are literally because of bad faith isms. Bad faith proxyisms. So, like I said, Iran is usually always trying to talk through things, usually, but as Iran was trying to talk through things, this is why you had Pakistan that said, if you do anything, we're gonna drop a star on you. You're gonna drop a hot one on you. And I'm telling you, when Yacoba said fall of the Gentile powers, and it was going to be a very, very magnificent fall. That magnificent fall was going to take place. You're now seeing it in the Middle East. And then it's going to domino around the world. Will this conflict take months? Will it take weeks? Will it take days? Honestly, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, if things went, or not if, but when things go terribly bad and terribly awry, they will cut the news source. They will cut the programming. And they'll talk about canned stories of the MAGA maniacs. They'll talk about this. If things are going bad, they're going to fall back to you name it. The traditional. It's going crazy. People are going crazy. Dems assassin is strong Trump supporter. Best friend reveals. The suspected assassin who ambushed a Minnesota state senator and lawmaker in a deadly attack was a strong supporter of Donald Trump, his roommate revealed. David Carlson told reporters that suspected the leader, Vance L. Bolter, voted for the MAGA president last year. The revelation came after Republicans such as Elon Musk painted Bolter, who was appointed to Governor Walz's Workforce Development Board in 2019, as a violent leftist, despite his pro-life views and his plans to target dozens of Democratic leaders. So they're even trying to lie on that. Why? They're trying to just sow as much confusion as they can. Continue to sow confusion. Continue to sow confusion. Confusions, hostilities. Confusions, hostilities. So now we have all of these situations going on, yeah, I could share these. I'm not going to share them because obviously they're trying to lay the bait, the trap. Understand what this trap is. That's what I'm telling you. Wait for it. There's a trap that's being set. There is a trap that is being set. Yeah, that thing got messed up. The devastation, to me, it's not going to be contained. Yeah, you weren't going to stop that. They weren't going to stop that. Let's see if I can get that out. That was a big explosion. Even in this, you just literally have to say no comment. Even in the way that I report this, it's no comment. Because why? Because in these next couple of days, couple of weeks, I'm going to say couple of weeks. These are going to be next couple of days. I'm going to say even in these next couple of hours. We don't have days anymore like that. We have hours. They're already going to be devising their plan to get us emotionally involved, emotionally attached to something. Why is that? Because the moment that we can get emotionally attached, that will then just prove the case and prove this or prove that. Nope. Again, this is not my fight. This isn't our fight. Really, it's never been our fight. And what they want us to do is they want us to open up our mouths to either condemn or support, which I thank the Most High that we're becoming more politically savvy. Do you condemn this? Do you condemn? Hey, listen, whatever they do is what they're going to do. That's not my problem. What should be everybody's problem. And because you're saying it's not your problem, you're supporting it. Look, they're going to start to throw all these words in our mouths like they've always done to create the reaction. The fact that you're not supporting or you're not saying that's being anti whatever. No. Again, we don't have any stake in that fight. I would say now we're trying to do more to make sure that we can get reparations before we're out of here, before this place crumbles. Look, I'm just trying to make sure that they have money left for reparations, that we can continue to have a reparations discussion before the rest of the billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars goes towards this war in the Middle East. This war that the U.S. will supposedly not be involved in, but will then be staging troops. I was going to show some photos of folks from there escaping. They're going into Europe. I was going to show that, but I'm like, nah, that will go into the trap. And they're being met at the airports in France with chaos because that's what they want. That's exactly what they wanted. No, I'm not going to play that because it's on X. They're showing that they are getting met with the chaos or with the protest. Because they're escaping, and I told you when they escape, it's not going to be what you think it is. Well, boy, oh boy, this one really states it all. The attacks on Israel's ports are strategic. Houthis bankrupted port in Eliyot, attack ports in Ashkelon. Right there's Eliyot. So the Houthis are hitting from the south. They're hitting below the belt. Hezbollah is hitting Haifa, and Iran attacked and burned port in Haifa. That was as of June 14th. Nobody's going to want to de-escalate. Remember what Iran said a few months ago? Iran said they are not going to be the ones to start this fight. And now they literally gave Iran what they were waiting for. And now you're going to start to see there has to be these diplomatic maneuverings and things of that nature. Because the reality is that you can't just say, well, now we're going to declare war. You're not going to say that. Because here's the thing. Who's going to back down first? If you back down in the case of Israel, then you have a problem with not just the citizens, but now you have a comment. Now you have a problem. With the ICC, ICJ. Man, they're doing a good job of scrubbing this stuff off. That's why I always have to say you got to be very understanding of what is going on. Now you have Times Now World, you have ET Now. They publish some things on the ICJ. You all are able to find those articles. They really won't. They really will not play that or share that. I kid you not. I could literally be here all day looking at looking at all the things that is happening. Let me show you this because here it is. I have that link there. Full steam ahead. U.S. aircraft carrier barrels towards Middle East after Trump threat and Iranians begin death to Ayatollah revolt. Well, you probably have the same thing going on in Israel, so it is what it is. Again, the U.S. Look. A U.S. aircraft carrier is barreling towards the Middle East after Donald Trump warned the full strength and might of the military would be used if America was attacked. Iran and Israel continue to rain down missiles on each other for a fourth day, with the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv now being damaged. And now they're about to bring in the USS Nimitz for the Middle East. So now, here's what you have. Israeli strikes on Iran. Iran's retaliatory strikes. The president has vowed to retaliate only if Iran bombs America as deadly missile salvos across the Middle East continued. He warned Tehran would experience the full strength of the U.S. military if it attacks the U.S. bases in the Middle East. Well, they're going to be attacked because Iran has already said that if the U.S. is there to offer aid and support, then does that not make you an accomplice? See, a lot of these things, they're very delusional. It's very delusional. Well, you know, I'm going to help them with this because they've what? They've already requested the help. Oh, I'm not going to help them. Yeah, right. That's probably already going down behind the scenes. Because why? Because you're moving in your aircraft carrier. If not, you wouldn't be having a provocative show of force. Because if you're actually out of it, I'm keeping everything away. Show of good force or show of good faith. If it was really a show of good faith, all right, guess what? We're getting out of the region. I mean, maybe that's too much of a reasonable person's expectation that doesn't have an agenda for this. Hey, we did not ask for this. We were trying to actually negotiate in good faith, and we got the rule pulled under our feet. We got the rug pulled out from under our feet, and now in doing so, we're going to have to fall back because this puts us in a terrible situation. And maybe the lack of our presence in the Middle East will cause tensions to simmer down. Because then Israel will have to think twice about doing any more strikes. I don't know. I think that that's a reasonable person's outcome. Hey, we're going to be redeploying in 30 days. All of our forces are getting out of the Middle East in an effort to maintain safety, in an effort to show our responsibility and commitment to providing a stable Middle East, in an effort to show to our Arab partners that we're here for actual peace. That's what we'll do. We'll deploy back into the Middle East after tensions have gone down. That would be the reasonable thought process. Not excuse me. Sorry, I'm still dealing with this head cold. Just give me a second. Yeah, you don't create more provocative action. Well, I'm gonna send more people because I think that's the right thing to do. Like, no. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's get more people in there. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, nothing ever goes wrong when you just bring in more people. Even their whole thought process, it doesn't make sense. But if you're a foolish nation, then everything that you think is correct makes sense. I was listening to Phil on the Advised channel, or excuse me, the African Diaspora News, and he was going live. This is his last night's live. And he was explaining that, the soul of the nation, which is us, it has been, which is us, we're not there. And that is why, these no kings protest and all these other protests and everything else, they've been abysmal because they just lost it. They lost that flair, that the umph. They ain't got no umph. And it's really a hollowed shell, because what they think they have, they really don't have. And what they don't have was the fact that we have been really the engine of the soul. Because why? Because we poured our heart and soul into this nation, albeit very ignorantly, for over 400 years. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. No, don't worry, Brother Asaph. Brother Asaph has been MIA because Brother Asaph is about to release a book. We got Tayub's book. We got Yakoba's book. Sister Ashanda's book. Got my book. Now he got Brother Asaph. Oh boy, these Hebrew scholars. These Hebrew scholars. What have we been doing? We've been internally focusing on our people. I have NeoDiplomacy.com. I'm here to train our people because why? Because you have to be ready and in the position to help our people for what happens next. What happens next? I don't know. Oh, no. What happens next is the Most High is literally putting us in the best position ever to talk to our brothers and sisters on the continent. I pray that our people understand this. what the Most High has literally been doing. And it has truly been an awesome thing to witness how the Most High has put us in these places, these spaces. There was something that I was doing in the background, things that I had been requesting. In one country, what I had requested, they did not agree with. But they said, instead of this, we'll give you that. And I said, okay. Now, did that mess things on up? It did. And I said, you know what? I said, Father, I said, I thank you, because even though I was trying to have something like this, to do this, to do this, I said, I'm not disappointed, even though what I was requesting was much lower than what I was anticipating. And you know what they said? They said, look, we would like to do that, but we have to earn the trust, because for those that had come before, they came before and they had basically screwed things up. So I tell you, yes, we are literally fighting upstream. We're swimming upstream. We're going, it's an uphill battle, because they knew this time was coming. And guess what they had to do? They had to create the moments of confusion, the derision, all this other stuff. And yes, I was a little disappointed. But I said, thank you, Father, because we just have to work with the little that we have. But isn't that how the Most High always operates? So I said, okay. I said, I kind of figured that that's how this would be in this country. But then in the other country, and with what I had requested, they said that's very bold and that's very ambitious. And I said, yes, you're absolutely right. It's very bold and it's very ambitious. But here's the thing. But I believe in our people. I believe in what our people are able to do. I believe in what our people are able to deliver. I believe that if you give our people the opportunity, that's all we need. Literally, we just need the opportunity. That whatever dream we have, we will accomplish it. And we'll accomplish it way beyond even our own human understanding and limitations. That's what happens. When we get together, we do things way beyond even our own limitations and understandings. We do. That's what we do as a people. Why do you think that they love us here? They just hate us. They love what we're naturally gifted with. They just hate us. We're victuals. Build this, do that, create this, create that. Great. Now that we don't need you, we need to find a way to get rid of you. These are the discussions that I have in the background. And here's the thing, I know our people get scared. Yes, our people get very scared. I get it. These are perilous and uncertain times. I didn't know why the Most High had me do my NeoDiplomacy.com course. I didn't know why the Most High said, Karis, talk to him about the containers. It's time. It's time. Are you ready? It's time. Oh, okay, Father. Are you sure? I mean, Father, you sure you want me to say that? You sure you want me to open my mouth? The reality is the Most High opened my mouth. And I had no idea that we're in a 90-day window. Do you know how awesome his timing is? Oh, let's scramble now. We need to do something now. They're fighting, and when they're fighting, they're going to get us, and if they get us, we're in trouble. And do you not realize that everything you do and think and say, whatever you try to accomplish right now, however you try to accomplish it, especially on the continent right now, what do you think that seems like? Oh, now you want to ask for something? Oh, now you want to try and build something? Oh, now you want to try and do something? You didn't have that energy when those deportations were occurring. And now, all of a sudden, now you're starting to get the glimpse. Now you're starting to get the glimmer of who they're really coming for. Because your employer is about to start reporting folks that look like you and me. We all saw that. Oh, Jamaicans, Haitians, Africans. Oh, there's black folks, African Americans. Here we go. We're next. When Yakoba showed that video Saturday on Shabbat, honestly, I was not surprised. It may have been surprising to others because why? Because a lot of our people truly think that, oh, we're indigenous, we're Native Americans. They're not going to get rid of us. We're Native Americans. I'm on the roster for the Littlefoot. Choctaw. I'm Cherokee. I got Seminole in me. A lot of our people really think that, and that is, I really feel sorry for them because you think that those folks are in a strong delusion. Our people are in a very, very strong delusion. But we have to pray for our people. Look, I'm going to pray for our people, and I'm going to keep this thing moving. Because honestly, we always said it's going to get bad to worse, and it's going to get worse than that. Instead of just trying to sit and see, oh, now it's time to go. We need to do the work now. Look, I don't care what type of personal beef or personal affront you may have with me. I don't care. I really don't. You can call me names, you can bash me. I don't care. I really don't. Like I said, pray for those. Pray for who you think you're called Edomites. I don't care. I'm praying for the Gentiles. I'm praying that they finally start to get it. Because why? Because they don't have much time to be in rebellion. For those that the Most High calls out, then they're going to be called out. For those that the Most High says, well, they're going to be rebellious to the end, they're going to be wicked to the end, that's between them and the Most High. And I let his will be done. That's it. And the reason I say that is because I don't want my spirit to be full of pride and vanity and death. Because why? Because that can easily fall back on us. We're not out of here. We're not out of the woods yet. Matter of fact, we're about to be right in the fire. Father, if there's any vanity, if there's any pride, if there's any iniquity, if there's anything, Father, that blemishes, that tarnishes, Father, forgive me, cleanse me, wash me of your blood that you sacrifice for your people. Your son, Yahushua HaMashiach. And do you understand? I had to laugh because when there's always attacks that come from folks, they don't even realize the assignment of the attacks because that to me is always there's another gate. We're passing through a phase. Something happened. Something's happening. Lo and behold, here we are. Lo and behold, 96 hours later, and that's what it was, 96 hours later, these Gentiles have a mess on their hands. Look, if you're kind to me, I'm going to have compassion towards you. It's qualified. I'm sorry, it is. It's qualified compassion. You got qualified immunity. I got qualified compassion. I'm being Christ-like. I never said I was Christ. I'm walking this thing out in fear and trembling, but I'm also walking this thing out in wisdom. Especially while they're going to be on the ropes. You understand that the more that they see that place, that Eastern Mediterranean nation go down, the more that they see their people getting out of there and fleeing by boats, by plane, by whatever conveyance they can find, the more they become unraveled. They're becoming unraveled. And they will be unraveled. Because why? Because spiritually, they cannot reconcile what's happening. We've been saying this for how many years? And it's not for us to get up and take our victory dance. No, it's actually for us to get up and do something. No, Israelites, no, Hebrews, guess what? You are now responsible to get some things done. You're now responsible to teach. You're now responsible to lead. You're now responsible to sign up to volunteer. You're now responsible to be in your communities and to talk to your communities. Did you know that that's your responsibility? Oh, let me turn this off, brother. Let me turn it off. Uh-oh, I'm convicting folks. Well, you're supposed to be convicting the Gentiles, not us. We're supposed to just have fun and laugh and everything else. Sorry. No, they're going through their judgment. But do you know that we're also responsible for some things? Oh, I know. People hate that. Man, they hate it with a passion. You mean I'm responsible to do something? Yes, you are. See, we thought that we were just going to come through and, hey, we're going to be just whisked away on the Exodus love boat. Something exciting and new. The Exodus love boat. No. You want to be sons and daughters of the Most High, then you don't even want to have the responsibility. How bad is that? For all you are in here that are parents, is that something that we have of our kids, or do we expect our kids to move how we move, to work how we work, to do as we have been told to do. That's following the law, statutes, and commandments. And now that they have to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, here comes the legalese. I told y'all. We have a very Pharisee spirit here in this community. I'm not even trying to help my brother out. I just want to condemn and condemn and condemn. I'm not trying to teach them. I'm not trying to train them. I'm not trying to help them. Understand, when I say bracing for it, that's not just them Gentiles. That's also us. Because that can easily fall on us. We're here to teach truth and peace to who? To our neighbors. You have Israelites that want to come through, Hebrews that want to come through, even Gentiles. You're speaking truth and peace. If they're not genuine, then guess what? That's between them and the Most High. You're going to do exactly what your Father commanded us to do. To come out of Babylon and be not partakers of her what? Of her judgments. How do we do that? We got to teach our people. Yeah, I'll tell you what's happening in Babylon. That's no kidding. Yeah, I'll tell you what's happening. But you want to know what? I'll tell you also what obedience looks like. What that personal cost means. And why we all have to bear it. We're going to be looking thitherwards, asking which way it is designed. We're going to be crying up on out of here. We're going to be weeping up on out of here because why? Because there's going to be a loss. However, there's also going to be a salvation. I still believe that there's going to be miracles that take place and healings that take place. Amongst family members, amongst sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, wives and husbands, brothers and sisters. I believe that there's going to be a restorative and redemption that occurs. We may have had to take our licks for the moment. We may have had to been knocked down for the moment. See, a lot of our people, we still hate to be chastised. But how are you going to be a servant when you got to go through when you got to get chastised, when you got to get corrected? We don't even like to have employees that have attitudes. Not fire them. Are you going to still have the spirit of rebellion like your ancestors? Or are you going to have the spirit of correction and truth? and obedience and love. Those are the questions y'all got to answer. I thank the Most High for what he's doing. And it has truly been awesome to see his work. It has truly been awesome to see his move. We get to see this. For one thing, you should not be scared about this because why? Because the Most High literally told us all of this in advance. Don't get scared. Fear not, fear not, fear not. And now we have to do the work. We still have a container that now needs to be brought from Ghana to Burkina Faso to Ouagadougou. People ask, "Oh, Brother Karras, I need to get up on out of here. I need to leave. I need to leave. I need to get going. I need to get up on out of here." You know, the funny thing is that those are the same people that, have never read Numbers, have never read Exodus, never read Deuteronomy, never read Leviticus. That when the children of Israel tried to get on out and tried to do things and, no, Moses, you're lying. I'm not saying I'm Moses, but that's what no, you're lying. We'll be able to conquer this. Hey, listen, I told you the Most High isn't with you. He's not with that. They were trying to do things on their own. And the Amalekites slaughtered them. Are you going to be like your ancestors? If you don't know what to do, pray about it. If you don't know how to handle this, pray about it. Yeah, we're seeing their world collapse, but how much longer do you think it's going to be until what's happening there ends up happening here? How much longer do you think that that's going to take? When the USS Nimitz is on its way. When you now have a black community, quote unquote, black community or community, so-called black community, that isn't the same or it's not what they are used to. In their eyes, we can't be trusted anymore. We're a black community that cannot be trusted. Because why? Because we're not looking the same. We're not walking the same. We're not moving the same. We can't even energize them for protest and to get them out to protest, which means they're not even caught up in the same devices of Babylon. Just think about that one. We don't even move the same. Not like how we once moved. You don't move like your ancestors. You don't even react like generations of yesteryear. You're no longer scared in a state of panic and shock. Don't you see what's happening? Don't you see this is what kings are doing? Don't you see? Don't you see it can happen to you? Don't you see? Don't you see? Don't you see? Oh, say, can you see? No, we're sitting this one out. I have a feeling it's going to be okay for us. But the caveat is we have to do what the Most High is instructing us to do. We have to be mindful of what the Most High is having us get ready for. You just don't get separated unless you are getting prepared for something. He's preparing us. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm getting prepared to do something. I'm getting prepared to work something, to walk into something. And these aren't supposed to be words of condemnation. It's not. But we have to be mindful of why we're even here at this time and what we're responsible to do. What's our responsibility? We're responsible to build up the Most High's kingdom. Do you see that there's a nation within a nation? Can a nation be born in one day? Do you know, just with the anatomical level, just understanding the nature of childbirth? Oh, I'm going to break this down here. There are different things that work outside of the space when a child is in utero, when the womb sees that it's getting ready, when the environment sees that it's getting ready. Do you know that the mother then begins to plan for the birth of their child? They have that natural instinct to get things ready. But just before they're getting things ready, they know things are getting ready because they feel the kicking of that child, because that child is now running out of room. And then that is one of the most active times of the child when they're there at that 32, 33 weeks. And then those 32, 33 weeks, what usually ends up happening, you'll start to have those phantom contractions. Because what's happening in those phantom contractions, it's shaping and turning and moving that child into position. That child is now being moved into the position of where that birth canal is. The head has to move to the place of where they're getting ready to leave the environment. But that process actually becomes a very violent process. Thank you, Olivia Thomas. I do believe it was a very insightful and timely book. Hallelujah. But what ends up happening? In the midst of that delivery, the baby gets squeezed. Ooh, come on now. But as the baby gets squeezed, the baby's just left to just stay there in that moment. Why do they say, look, it's dangerous to have what? A delivery that lasts more than how many hours? More than 24 to 36 hours. Because why? Because that baby then continues to be squeezed and squeezed, and that could mess even with the oxygen. So what do they then do? They have the mother stand up, pace around, and in that standing up and pacing around, that's a very, very volatile area. Do you know that this earth is now very volatile? Because those contractions are now here. The water literally done broke. When the water breaks, and I know I'm a guy here explaining this, Well, can't you just put a cork up in that sucker so it can... No. Because your surroundings are no longer there. That environment is no longer the environment that you had been birthed in, that you have been brought in. We were in the belly for 7 years or longer, most of us. Those contractions are now heavy because the water done broke. I don't know how the Most High is going to move. I really don't. But I know that when he does, we better get ready. Exactly, Mr. G. You can't stop this birth. Because if you spiritually don't know what's happening, it just means everything is it is what it is. Yes, the baby is crowning. We've now been positioned in that birth canal by what? Staying behind at home in that protest. It's violence outside. There's things going out outside. There are contractions outside. Some of the contractions, not as violent, not as deadly, but there's still contractions. You just have to sit while the Most High is getting things prepared. Can a nation be born in one day? Well, that nation's already here. Read Isaiah 47. Read Jeremiah 15:51. This thing is going to be so miraculous. It's going to be very interesting. And the way that it's going to work is going to be an interesting manner. We all have our part to play in this delivery. I think we'll go over that tomorrow. Do I believe that they're going to have a stalemate with this? Honestly, no. Do I believe that there's a lot of confusion in this? Yes. It was designed that way. But boy, oh boy, are we living in some very interesting times, to say the least. We have to be obedient servants. That's how the Most High has brought us up. This is why we're brought up. This is why. Have you ever noticed why folks have gotten, why they have awakened? What our timing was in this awakening? What our job was in this awakening? You're going to awaken to what? Life, everlasting life, and those are, and those that awaken to shame and contempt. You only had two awakenings. You're going to either awaken to life, or you're going to awaken to death. Yeah. Yeah, you can't have that baby being delivered. Yeah, 24 hours. So now here we are. I don't know what else is going down, family. I really don't. Again, as I said, there's so many things that's happening that you really can't even quite comprehend. Because why? Things are happening on such a level. So again, here we go. Things are being flooded into the Middle East. They started. So again, if things start to pop up, things start to go crazy, I will try to be on. That is my commitment. I don't know how much time left. I'm not going to speculate how much time left. Yeah, you better get some electrolytes. You better have that Gatorade ready. Our bodies sometimes will go into shock. Yes, it will. Again, family, if you want to support this channel, I appreciate it. Continue to keep me up in prayer, because we're doing some extraordinary things in the background. The great thing is that the continent is ready for it, but they're apprehensive. Man, they're so apprehensive. I would be too, though, and I can't blame them. I would be too, absolutely. But this is why we pray for favor. This is why we pray for grace. But it's not just praying for us, we also have to pray for them. That the hurt and the pain that they suffered, that the Most High heals. You realize that, right? They take that generational pain, that generational suffering, and they play that against one another. So now that's one thing that we have to pray for healing for our people. And let's continue to pray for our people to awaken. It's real awesome when we see how the Most High literally shakes people out of bed. And they're being violently shaken out of bed. Hallelujah. So with that said, also, please make sure that you're preparing. Make sure you have some supplies, water, things of that nature. Understand your evacuation plans. Remember, you had that ominous warning by the director of national intelligence of, the nuclear things. They say that on purpose. Well, unfortunately, then was David ungodly? Because David wasn't elected. Just saying. I think their logic traps, it's all falling apart. And they know it. Because we are living in some interesting times, some interesting days. And with that, I got to get things together. I got to get things done. I am not here as a relocation program or service. I'm not. If you want to talk to me about relocating because you are scared, I can refer you to other people. I'm here to do some building on the continent. If you want my time for something else, I can charge you for that. If that makes you feel comfortable. My time that I'm doing is for critical infrastructure and economic development between the African diaspora and the African continent. You can feel free to contact me if that's not your interest, but I will charge you. And I will charge you a lot of money. So keep that in mind. because I have kingdom work to do. And I'm not here to do individual relocations and bailouts. Sorry, I'm not. You can still have a consultation with me. I'll still charge you, but I'm just giving you I'm giving you that caveat. I'll put in my little Attractwell link. You want to book a consultation? Feel free. But that's what I'm up to. I got too many things that I'm doing in high levels to work things out for our people. So, if you don't mind, then I'll give you that information. Sure, you can book an appointment today with me, but you're going to be paying some funds. With that said, I am going to get up on out of here because I do actually have a lot of things to do this weekend. And with that said, family, be blessed because the Most High is taking care of us right now in the time that we are in close quarters as a nation that's being ready to be born. Hallelujah. So with that said, family, Most High willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. We'll see just how much YouTube has censored everything. All right, family. Be blessed. Shalom.